many things, but the first most memorable was when we were changing hosts, and you know how you're meant to like wait for it to like propagate over or something? I had no idea. So I just turned off our host. I was like, boom, yep, got it. Got the new one set up. No website, zero website.
So you guys would be the clients from hell. Welcome to the WP Elevation podcast. I'm Ginny McAnini and I work at WP Elevation. Today I interview two very fun sisters, Emma and Carla Pappas, who are better known as the MerryMaker Sisters. Based on the beautiful Gold Coast in Australia, the girls have started a huge following where they help over 1.5 million people every year to lead a happier and healthier life. And they do this through their very popular blog post, through podcasts. They write fantastic healthy eating recipes, and they produce books and do speaking gigs. You're going to learn a lot today about how they use social media and also about how they blog effectively. Stay tuned for this and more on the WP Elevation podcast.
This is the WP Elevation podcast, helping WordPress consultants elevate.
Hey, this episode of the WP Elevation podcast is brought to you by WP Elevation. Well, more specifically, it's brought to you by a bunch of our happy customers. See, frankly, I feel a little bit awkward telling you how great WP Elevation is because you're probably not going to believe me because WP Elevation is my baby. It's something that we started over 3 years ago. Of course, now we're a team of coaches and mentors, and we have hundreds, and by the time you're listening to this, probably thousands of members all over the world. But it still really is something that I'm very passionate about. And of course, if you join WP Elevation, we make revenue and we make profit. So it's a little bit awkward if I tell you how great it is, because you probably think I'm just trying to sell you on it. And partially I am, because I know how beneficial the program is. So what I'd love to do instead is just introduce you to some of our customers. So if you go to wpelevation.com/thepodcast, all one word, you'll be able to hear some of those stories from our customers and hear for yourself how WP Elevation has impacted their business and changed their lives. I hope you enjoy that and I hope you check it out at some point. Right now, let's get back to the podcast.
MerryMaker Sisters, Emma and Carla, welcome to the WP Elevation podcast.
Yay! We're super excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Now, I have to try very hard today to stay on topic because I know I'm going to have too much fun and want to go on all these tangents. So if I'm going off topic, just bring me back and vice versa.
I don't know. Good luck with that. Good luck.
So before we start, can you just tell us a little bit about your journey and how you both got to where you are today?
Yeah, well, I guess it started, like the whole business merrymaking blogging journey started back in 2012. And that was when we both changed our lifestyles and kind of fell in love with this new way of living. And we were like, we have to do something with this. So it actually started with Instagram. You started posting on your personal account, Carla started, and it kind of just blew up. Like all of a sudden she had like 1,000 followers and it was like, like people are interested in this stuff. We should do something with this. So we heard about this blogging thing. So we literally just Googled what is a blog and then followed by how to start a blog. And I think we stumbled across ProBlogger. And then it was like, whoa, like this is like a whole other world. Like we thought the internet was for Facebook. We thought it was for checking the weather, for like the movie times. Like that's what we use the internet for. We were like, oh my God, people make money online. What the hell? So then we were like, we want to do this. We're going to do this.
And then we just like kept blogging. Like we fell in love with blogging, like writing and sharing our story and learning how to take photos and uploading them and things like that. And also social media as well, and sharing both messages like across the blog and then sharing it out to social media to get the people to the blog. And we just learned everything that we could, went to heaps of events and conferences and saw that other people were doing it full time. So about in August 2013, that was when we attended our first blogging conference and we saw full-time bloggers. We're like, oh my gosh, we need to make this our thing. Like we were so excited about it that we just had to make it happen. And then July 2014, we decided to quit our government jobs. We had no plan, no strategy. We were not making money from blogging at all. Like people, I look back on that and I'm like, why did we do that? Like we're insane. But it just was the kind of kick up the butt that we needed to make it happen. So we quit our jobs. and we decided to blog full time, and we made it happen. So we did that through making ebooks, making courses, as well as hard copy books, and also working with aligned brands for advertising and partnerships. And I guess since that day, we haven't really looked back, and we've kind of just thrown everything at the wall and seen what sticks. Oh, and I forgot about our app.
Oh, yeah.
We made an app too, which is super cool. But yeah, and so that's kind of the merrymaking journey.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think it's like, what else can we do? We want to kind of turn it into something big. We just don't know exactly what it looks like yet. So obviously it's going to be an extension from just online. Like, that's our kind of vision. Like, I don't know what yet. We've got to figure that out.
You're certainly on your way, and I love the way that you've just dived in and followed your dreams. I think that's fantastic, but not done it without doing the work and the research, the hard work and research that goes into it. So today I wanted to sort of focus on content, so social media and blogging, and how, you know, you've really used that to really catapult yourselves. So if we start with maybe looking at social media, so I know obviously you know that we're our audience is WordPress consultants, so this might even be more relevant to our clients. You know, for example, I think Instagram, for what you guys do, like the pictures, the recipes of that awesome food, is the perfect platform for you. So how did you go? Like you mentioned, you just started off and you realized, oh, I've got 1,000 followers, people are interested in this. So what have you learned over the time that you've been doing this, your social, and what are your main platforms that you use?
I think with Instagram, especially when we first started to like now, like the whole experience of using it and the I guess reaction from people is completely different. I mean, we would share stuff, we would use hashtags, other people would share our photos, and boom, we'd get 500 followers like that if they had a large amount of following. Do that today, and it's just kind of like lost in the ocean of Instagram, because
you might get like 2 followers.
Yeah, like it's kind of insane. But in saying that, I mean, like, Instagram is amazing for connecting with people, for people just to find you, new people, and also selling stuff as well. I mean, like, we'll promote something on Instagram, especially the stories now, because that's like real, like, you know, we might get like 1,500 people watching those stories, but we'll promote something and boom, you sell it. Like, you'll notice, like, straight away after, you'll see sales in your inbox. So it's a great platform to sell directly, but it's also a great platform to build that community. And, you know, these people might just hang out on Instagram following us for like months and months and months. It might take them 6 months till they finally click through to our site, and then they sign up in our funnel, and then who knows when they'll like buy a product, or they might just be hardcore fans who tell a bunch of other people about us. So, I mean, it's an exciting space, but it's also can be like a distraction as well, because you get like caught up with the followers and the likes. So I think it's like this happy balance.
Yeah, we kind of choose not to focus on the likes and the follows, but more showing people who we are as a business and also as individuals, so people can get to know us and get to know and trust us. And that's, as Emma said, like in months to come, they might click through and make a sale, or we might just change their life by making their day a little bit happier, and that's okay as well. Like, it's not just about like getting the customers through. It is about creating that overall community, so people might talk about us to their friends, like they might have seen a post that inspired them and things like that. So when we're looking at stuff that we are sharing on Instagram, we're looking to whether it inspires people, raises awareness about something, it might educate them about something, or just entertain them. And I think they're the kind of things we look at when we're sharing things, because I know some people struggle with like, what do I share? Like, I don't know what to share. And so they're the kind of things we look at, like educate, inspire, raise awareness, what was my other one? Entertain.
And I reckon that's a really good point of difference, that like, you know, WP consultants, like, you know, it might not be like actually what you do that you put on social media, but what about like putting your personality online? What about putting like your CEO or the big boss online? Like get like a different side to the business, because really people want to know that. Like, people are interested in not just what you can offer them, but like
the people.
Yeah, like give them the option to fall in love with like the whole story. Like, I just think like we kind of missed the mark a little bit in saying that, you know, you don't really use social media. It's like, well, how about you do use it and use it in a different way?
I love that. I think what I've got is it's an all-round approach, so it's not just doing one strategy but everything. But I find we're the same when we put out something personal or someone gets to know us personally. I think that they're the ones that we really get heaps of hits on because people sort of want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So,
and I reckon, and it's like in this world of fake, you know, like on Instagram, there's so much fake stuff, you know, like it's insane. And I'm not saying people follow that stuff. They love that stuff. But then like someone will like go out there with this really authentic, real, like, I don't know, sharing their hardship, sharing the shit that goes on. Whoops, I swore. Yeah, and I think like that cuts through and that can really connect with someone and that might just like build that relationship up to something magical.
Yeah, so we use Instagram for like sharing photos and things like that as well as our story, but then we also use Facebook a lot. And mainly Facebook is actually, thinking about our analytics, Facebook has now overtaken Google on the click-throughs to our website. So Facebook is where like the most traffic comes to our blog, which is absolutely insane, and we love it. That's why we're like, oh my God, we love Facebook. And Meet Edgar was the game changer for us because we have so much evergreen content on our blog. Like, for example, we have say a healthy chocolate cake that we shared 3 years ago. Someone still might want that recipe today, even though we shared it 3 years ago. So Edgar has been amazing for us that it rotates our content automatically without us having to reschedule it in every week when you use something like Hootsuite. So buying Edgar and using that in our strategy has made our hits just kind of triple.
Wow.
From Facebook to the blog, which is totally amazing. So we use Edgar. How many posts a day go out from Edgar? Like about 6?
No, like 2 maybe.
2. Okay, 2. Emma,
I look after
that's what I was
Edgar.
asking.
No, not 6. It's like 2. I decreased it.
So 2 on Facebook?
2 on Facebook from Edgar, but then we'll cross from Instagram to Facebook as well. So that might be like another 2. So we'll probably post on Facebook like 4 times a day, Instagram 4 times a day. There's no like magic number, I don't think. Like you could share like once a day or 10 times a day. Like just choose a number, stick to it, and keep it consistent. I mean, it's all about being consistent on social media. You just got to keep doing it.
That is so true.
Yeah, when people start, it's like, well, how many? Like they are looking for that magic number, and it is just about like continue to post. Like it's that momentum. Like it's gonna take time. It's not overnight. Like so, you've got to be on there, and you've got to stay on there to get the results. Because people don't just learn about you or trust you overnight. Like it takes a long time, and it's like blogging, like it's the long-term strategy.
That's it. And I think another thing people get hung up on is what time should I post? And you see blog posts about the optimum times for posting, and they've done studies, and because I do a lot of our social media, and at the end of the day I look at say Facebook stats and I go, okay, well a lot of our audience is in the US, let's have a look at some really high engagement times. I'll do it around that time and I don't get too fussy. What about you guys with times that you post?
Yeah, we usually notice that the mornings and the afternoons Aussie time are the most popular for us, and that's because most of our audience is Australian. To be honest, we don't get too hung up on looking at the stats and the analytics because, I don't know, we're just like whatever. But it works for us to be like that, just to be like, put it out there, see what works, do more of that content. I mean, with the algorithms as well, it's like if you post good content, it's going to get seen. If you post content that your people want to see, they're going to like it, they're going to engage. So then Instagram will pop it up the top of people's feeds. Like the more comments you get in the first 10 minutes, the more likes you get in the first 10 minutes, you'll find that that'll get put up in people's feeds, so therefore it will get more traction. And I mean, Facebook is similar, obviously not with the, like it's different but similar. But if it's good content and it gets attention, it'll get more attention.
There's only sometimes where we're like, why did that go really well?
Yeah, sometimes we'll post really ugly food from other people. No offense to all our followers. But we'll repost like this ugly recipe that someone made of ours. We're like, see what happens. Boom, like real popular. And we're like, I don't know, maybe it's like more relatable.
Yeah, like they might see this photo of like mushed up pancakes and they think, that's what mine looks like. It doesn't look like this perfectly lit stack of pancakes. So
I love it. Hey, a tip I found too the other week, we got from Ray Milladoni, who's now working with us, is I was doing Facebook posts and just doing the URL and you know, just whatever picture Facebook wanted, it just took from the post. But I found, well, Ray told me, if you actually just do a separate photo, an image that's not, you know, one that's part of the URL that just automatically comes up, I found that tripled the amount of people who got to see it by just putting in a separate photo and not using the one that's automatically generated. So that's another little good tip.
We mix it up just like we don't really measure it. I know like people, like everyone's probably like, you need to measure this stuff, but we kind of like not the measuring type of people. But we'll just like do both varieties and like
see what happens.
Hope for the best.
Oh, you girls are my sort of girls. I am so not the measurer. I get in trouble for not measuring at work. But
oh my God, we have better things to do, right?
If we're posting 4 times a day, we have to measure 4 different things.
And surely one will go well. Like,
ain't nobody got time for that.
I know.
We've got to create other stuff instead of measuring it.
Now, do you guys use Facebook ads?
Yes.
We do. So we've done 2 techniques. One is just like when we launch stuff, so like doing the pixel on the sales page and then retargeting people who look at the sales page and then like reminding them buy, but you know, in better words. Then the other one was we had a funnel set up, so you might be able to talk about that a bit more.
Yeah, well, we had like an opt-in where it was a free 7-day meal plan, and then they would opt into that, and then there would be another step which was like a tripwire product, and if they didn't buy that, then we retarget them with an ad and say, hey, don't forget about your tripwire product. And then as they went through the funnel, we just kind of kept retargeting them depending on whether they said yes or no to that part of the funnel. So it was kind of just all about getting them back in the funnel all the way to the end until our final pitch of like a higher priced product. We actually found we didn't get that funnel right. Like our ads weren't converting to how we would have liked to see them convert.
Everyone bought the tripwire product.
Yeah, everyone loved the $7 product. And we were like, oh, it's back in.
And then they fell out.
And then they fell out and they didn't come back in. So
why do you think they fell out? Was that because of the way you were doing it, or what the next step was?
I think it's we haven't found the right product to sell to our audience.
Yeah.
And you know, like, you can read everything, but like I think it's like you really need to look at like what do your people actually want. Our people, they prefer cheaper products. So we found like more expensive products don't work. In saying that, who knows what could happen in the future? It might work.
And it's also we find that when, say for example, we're doing like a live challenge.
Yeah.
The fact that it starts on a certain date, people are like, okay, yes, I know it starts on the 29th of May. I'm going to buy it because I know I'm going to do it for that 2 weeks. Whereas these products we were trying to sell them was like a self-paced kind of thing. And I think when it's diet and lifestyle, people really want that support. They want the start date. They want the end date as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, no one wants to be on a diet forever. And that's kind of like what it probably felt like when they were purchasing that last product. So we just need to relook at our products and see what our people want and listen to them as well. Yeah. We'll probably end up doing another sales funnel Facebook ads because the retargeting when we launch are really successful. So if we can replicate that somehow in our funnel, it would work.
That sounds good. So basically it's a lot of trial and error, and then you put it out there, you learn from that, and then you go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned finding what your audience likes. How do you find out what your audience likes?
Yeah.
I think it's like actually just like having awareness of like what their actions are and what is actually happening. So it might not be measuring, like I guess we measure sales and like money and stuff like that, but like it's just like seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, taking it into account and making changes if it's not working. Yeah. I think like that's the thing that we've done really well, I'll say, is you know, we'll try lots of stuff, but as soon as it's like not working, we'll be like, boom, like let's change it. Like,
yeah, we can give you an example. Like we started, you know, like a membership. Like there was it's still talked about. Like, memberships work really well for some businesses. And we're like, oh, cool, well, they're working for everyone else. Maybe it will work for us.
Yeah.
We started a membership and it didn't work, and we didn't enjoy it either. And that's such a big thing for us. Like, we have to enjoy the work we do because we're working with people, and like our whole message is like, live a happy, healthy life. It's like, well, we want to be happy so it can inspire others to be happy, and it didn't make us happy. So we ended that membership after a year. But again, I'll say from that, we developed an amazing product that is working, which is our 14-day challenge. And we just noticed that people wanted a shorter time frame. They wanted a cheaper product. So we changed up our challenge from 4 weeks to 2 weeks. We made it 29 instead of 49.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's noticing what works and what doesn't, and then taking action. I think like a lot of people get stuck in like this isn't working, why isn't it working? It's like, okay, well, it's not working, like make a change, like take a step to the left, take a step to the right, step forward, whatever. Just make a change. Don't overthink it. Sometimes I don't know. We're like pretty, just like boom, do it. I don't know.
And we
bad advice, isn't it?
No, I love that. And because you're small, I love the way you can do this when you haven't got a big company.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just run it by each other.
Yeah. Like, hey, do you want to do that? Yeah, okay, we want to do that. Let's do it. And also, after every product, we always get like a feedback. Like we do a survey, we get feedback, we get them to rate it, we get them to comment, and we also use Facebook a lot for just asking questions. Like Emma asked a question the other day, like, what kind of exercise do you like? Do you love it or do you dread it? And that's because we're thinking of like bringing in fitness into our business and like kind of a program. So we wanted to get an idea of like, what are people doing already? Are they loving it? Are they hating it? Like, what could we do that they might love? So it's just asking them as well. And usually people like to contribute, like they like to be heard. So responding back to them, like saying, thank you so much. And we're really big on responding to our community, like both on Facebook and Instagram. Like we try and comment back to people. And I think that again has allowed us to build trust. We're always open in our emails. If someone emails us, we'll email them back like personally. It's not like someone else or an autoresponder. And I think that might be like just a little touch that adds something personal, and like people get to know us as like the people behind the business. Sometimes people forget like the person behind the computer is an actual real life human.
Yeah, I love that strategy, and I think, and we do it at WP Elevation as well, and I know I do it, and I think you girls are the same as me. We just do it naturally because we're that sort of a person, and I love to connect with who we're working with and who our clients are, and I'm interested in them, and I think you guys are the same. And that personal touch, you cannot buy that, it's just what makes it.
Shocked as well, and like they'll write back and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's you, and we're like, who else is it gonna be?
And I reckon it's like we can kind of like set that job aside. We can be like, no, I'm too important for that. Like, I have better stuff to do with my time. I'm amazing. But it's like, do it, and then you remember how good it feels to actually connect one-on-one. You forget how good it feels to help someone, and you're like, shit, this is why I do it. Like, this is why I have this business. Why I'm helping these people. I'm changing lives, and you kind of forget. Like, and it might be changing a life to help their website, to help them eat better, whatever you're doing. Like, really, you're helping people.
Exactly.
And sometimes we can forget because we like are stuck in the numbers, we're stuck in the measurements, we're stuck in the analytics. It's like, hey, remember, we're all humans on this big planet. Like, let's just like chill out and have fun. I don't know.
And I think, and you girls might struggle with this as you get bigger as well, or like depending where you go, but we know that now our team's really growing, and it is a lot harder because we're all so stretched doing different things to give that personal touch, but we always come back to it, like even when we're in meetings, and we always come back to it and remember, this is why we're here, like you said, this is why we're here in the first place, and this is why we do what we do, so we've got to keep that going. So,
it's so easy to forget. Like, we do it.
We put it in an action folder. Like, we might not get to it for a week or 2 weeks, and that's okay. But we make sure we respond still. Like, we don't forget that email. Like, some people spend like 15 minutes writing us essays. And if I did that to somebody, like, I would love a reply.
Yeah.
And so I just treat people the way I would like to be treated.
And I think it's like we forget all the time. Like, we'll forget that, like speaking engagements. Like, we'll be like, nah, that's not worth our time. It's just small. Like, we have better things to do. Like, we need to do business stuff. We need to grow this thing. And then we'll go and, like, do one of these small speaking engagements. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, not only have I helped these people, but I've helped myself, because now I'm more excited about the business. I have more energy. I'm more enthusiastic. It's just like not only you're helping them, but you're helping yourself as well. You're helping your business as well. And I think we sometimes forget that actually it is a top priority. Like, we just kind of like chuck it aside.
Beautiful. I love that. That's really important. All right, I want to move now on to blogging and talk about how you've grown your blog, because as WordPress consultants, we always say how important it is to consistently get content out there. So can you tell us a bit about how you've grown your blog and what you do to make it successful?
Yeah, I mean, ever since the beginning, we just loved blogging. So we were like, we wanted to blog every day. Like, we did, like, in the beginning, we're like, okay, we have to blog 5 times a week, because, like, that's the best thing that you can do. And then slowly we kind of realized there were other things we needed to do in the business, and we had to kind of scale it back. And so we've gone through phases of, like, 5 times a week, 3 times a week, once a week. And then we realized that once a week we were like, oh, we really miss creating content. So we brought it back and we took it up a notch. Right now, I would say we share about 3 posts a week, like on average.
Well, last week we only shared 1, but usually it is about 3.
Yeah, it's like everyone will go back and look, no, you didn't.
Like, it makes so much sense, this whole, like, content marketing thing and blogging thing. Like, I mean, we can just create content that people are looking for. So it's about knowing, okay, I have a target audience who I want to buy my product. What are they going to be searching for online that I can give for free? So for us, it's just like recipes. Like, I mean, we can put recipes out, and then, I mean, salted caramel slice, how many shares has that had on social? Like 40 something thousand. And I mean,
well, who wouldn't want to share that recipe? Let me tell you.
And it gets thousands and thousands of views all the time. And then it's like, okay, then you can optimize that page and, like, make sure people are, like, getting into your funnel. Like, it makes so much sense, and it makes sense to put energy towards it. And not only is it about, like, getting people to your site, but it is about creating that personality, that I don't know, that brand. Yeah, like, it's a part of the brand. I think every business should be prioritizing blogging. Like, I honestly do.
When anyone, like, asks me, like, how should I market my business, I always just come back to blogging. I just think it's a no-brainer. 1, you can do it pretty much for free.
Yeah.
And 2, you are letting people into, like, the business, and they're getting to know you, how you speak, how you are as a person, or whether it might be how you are as a business, like whether you choose a persona to write from, whatever it might be. And you're also helping people. And if you help people, then they're more likely to come back. They're more likely to trust you, because they're like, oh, remember that person who helped me with that? Maybe they could help me with something else. And, like, that's the whole idea around blogging, is, like, help people enough, and then eventually they'll probably want to buy something from you that's going to help them even more. And usually your blog or whatever you write about is linked to your products or your business, and that's why it's content marketing, because even though you're creating this piece of content, it kind of leads on to a product. For example, like our cookbook or our challenge, they're all linked to recipes, and that's why we choose so many recipes. So people can try a recipe for free, and they can think, oh my gosh, that was delicious and I feel really healthy, and they might want more from us.
Yeah, and then, like, social media is just like, I mean, they call it micro-blogging now, don't they? Like, you can pretty much, like, that's just an extension of your blog. Like, you can put whole posts on social media. And I mean, like, some people say it's even going that way, like, kind of blogging is, like, getting pushed aside for social media, but I still think so much importance for blogging, obviously for, like, SEO purposes as well.
And just on the SEO purposes, how do you keep that top of mind when you're writing your blogs?
Yeah, like, all that, like, definitely
for recipes especially.
Yeah, so if we're say, for example, we're writing about magnesium or something, or like a latest like trend in a supplement. We'll be like, why is magnesium good for me? Like a question, like we just think really basic. We don't go like, we don't look into like what's trending and all those tools that you can use. Even though
I do sometimes.
Even though people tell us to.
I do sometimes.
Okay, Emma does sometimes. Rarely, I'm gonna say. We don't really do it, but that's the kind of words we make sure keywords we're putting into the blog. So, for example, like I made a black forest cake the other day, and the keyword was like healthy black forest cake. Made sure it was in there 3 times, made sure it was in the title, made sure it was in the slug and things like that. So just super basic, and we just use Yoast for our tool to make sure that we're like getting green lights.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good, because I think, again, you know, we talk about things, you can often overthink things as well. So, yeah. Just
it's
keep
so funny when we talk to people and they get really scared about SEO, and it's like, oh, we need to do SEO, we need to pay someone thousands and thousands of dollars for SEO, and it's like, or you could just write a free blog post, like that.
Yeah, and I mean, like it's about just knowing that it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, like it's just
sometimes it does.
Yeah, but we've been blogging since 2013.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean we just do it consistently. Like there's not a week without like a blog post. Like we'll just consistently put out new content. And that's why, like, for example, like we've like had a little break from work really, like for the last couple of weeks, like probably the last month we've have not put many hours into our work, but we've launched, like we've had a sale on our book that went really well. We've also launched a product that went really well. And that's all off the back of content marketing, because we already have this amazing community just waiting there, ready to see what we're going to launch, because they already trust us. They already use our free stuff. So there's going to be a % that are going to want to buy the next level, like the next up one.
Yeah. And as we were talking about, it is about consistency, but I think it's also about quality. So like, I think like if you only have time to do one post a fortnight and make it like a really awesome post, then just stick to that. It isn't about like smashing out thousands and thousands of blog posts like as fast as you can, because like there's no point to that. And we did that like in the beginning, like we were like, just put it out there, whatever, like who cares. And then we realized, actually, like if we put a little bit more effort into this, it goes much better. We're getting the same amount of traffic to our blog, even if we're doing 4 quality posts rather than 10 like not as good posts.
That's a key point too, because I think a lot of people we work with, they say, I hate writing, I find it so difficult. So that's the other thing, write quality, find out what people want, what your audience want, write quality, and be consistent. I think they're the key.
And one more I reckon is like write what you want to write about as well. Like find an aspect that makes sense, that actually like, I don't know, makes you happy, like it feels like it can flow a little bit, is authentic. I know like people hate the word authentic now, but like authentic works. Like I'll write like a personal post and it will get so much traction compared to like something just about like, I don't know, like a list kind of thing of like nothing personal, like even though it's on the same topic. So it's like see how you can like make it more authentic, make it more real to you. Or your business. Like it doesn't have to be like too personal to an individual, but personal to a business. I think that really works as well.
Yeah, and I think going back to it doesn't happen overnight. Like just an example, like our friend Bronnie Ware wrote a post about the top 5 regrets of the dying. She wrote this blog. She just put it out there. She was like, okay, I'm just gonna like write this. I really want to share this. Put it out there. It was 8 months later that then it started to get traction and shared around the world. I think it's had 10 million shares now. She's a best-selling author. Like it's getting made into a movie. Like so, I just think like don't put blogging at the bottom of your priority list, because it has the potential to blow up. Like whatever you're writing about, it really does. And I think that's exciting. Like, and that's kind of, when we heard that story, we were like re-inspired by blogging. We were like, okay, like now we understand, like it's not about that overnight traction, the overnight shares that we might get like on that first Facebook share. It could get found years later. Who knows?
I'm definitely going to put a link to that in the notes, because I think I heard about her on the TED Radio Hour podcast, or might have been the Slow podcast. Anyway, and the story and just what she wrote about just is so important for everyone. The top 10 regrets of the dying. So I'll put a link to that.
Yeah. But when we interviewed her, it was just like, the best.
I listened to her for hours. Yeah. We were in the same room too. Yeah. So it was just like, she had this weird, calming, amazing energy, and it was just like, I just wanted to like hang out with her.
Yeah. So she worked as a palliative care nurse, so was surrounded by dying people all the time, and they had the same things recurring of what they said they regretted, and it's such a good way for us to live life. But now we're veering.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have got time just about up, but what I wanted to ask you as one final takeaway is, in May we did Mental Health Month, and all the content we published was all around mental health, which we were just absolutely blown away by the response that we got. And you guys, I know you're all about healthy living, mental health, physical health. So what would your takeaway tip be for living a stress-free and fun life? Because that's what you're all about. Just, don't go crazy on it, but just give us a couple of takeaways of how you do that.
Yeah, well, let's do one each.
Yeah.
So I think number one is that I always just come back to the present moment, because normally our stress is coming from what we have to do tomorrow, or what is due in a week or a year, or what we haven't yet got. And I think that if we come back to this the present moment and we realize, oh wow, like I really do have everything I need right now, that you just kind of alleviate that stress. And anxiety usually comes from the past. Like, we're thinking about the past things that we've done. We're worried about that thing that we said to that person, or that social interaction we had with that. Was I awkward? Did they think this about me? Oh my gosh, what if I see them tomorrow? And things like that. And I think we're just worrying about like things that actually aren't real. So if we come back to now and we just take a deep breath, then everything just kind of like levels out a little bit, and we can just go on about our day. And it is all about like enjoying the days, because the days become the months become the years, and the years become your life. So if you're enjoying every day, then you're going to make sure that your life is filled with joy.
Yeah. Carla, coming back to the present moment, and now Emma.
Well, like mine usually is something like that anyway. But I also want to say that I know that it's not about living a stress-free life. Like, if we wanted to live a stress-free life, we'd have to go move to like a small little island.
In Korea.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of the blue zones. There you go, stress-free. You're going to live for over 100 years. Like, let's be realistic. We can't live stress-free lives in today's society where we're living, what business we're doing, whatever. So I think it's about like finding what helps you get rid of that stress. So whether it's yoga, whether it's surfing, whether it's walking on the beach, whatever it is, and do more of that. Like what is one thing you can do every day that'll bring you more joy, that'll make you more calm? Like, we all have one thing. Like, if someone tells me that they don't have one thing, I'm like, no, like, you need to go and find that, because you do have one thing.
It makes you come alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, and do it like for 5 minutes a day. Like, it doesn't have to be this 1 hour thing. You don't have to sit and meditate for half an hour. You could go for a mindful walk for 5 minutes and take in your surroundings, and that'll help you come back to the present, what Carla said. But it's also like bringing you joy, because you're like, oh my God, like the world is kind of epic, that like this is amazing, and you'll have that feeling of joy, and then you'll be inspired to go finish your tasks, finish your job in a less stressed way.
Yeah, you'll often find when you do stuff like that, like in a moment where you're like, oh, I just don't feel like doing anything. Like, I can't do anything right, and all these things are going wrong, and blah, 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 blah. If you stop and you go and do one of the things that you love, or some of the things Emma suggested, no doubt you will come back and it will flow so much better. So I think if we prioritize that, our days become more enjoyable. Like, and it's so funny because we all do it. We all push it aside. We all think we don't have time for yoga. We don't have time to meditate. We don't have time to eat healthy. But actually, it's what you value or what you prioritize. So if we turn it around, if we change, I don't have time for, to, oh, that's not a priority, I bet people will change their actions, because that sounds like, it's like, oh, it's not a priority for me to be healthy. That's kind of scary. So like, if you change that, I don't have time for to. That's not a priority. I think it'll make it easier to take action on those things.
I love that. That is so cool. Thank you, girls. It's just spot on, and I think that's what everyone will be able to relate to that and resonate with that.
Hey.
So thank you for joining us on the WP Elevation podcast. It's been a pleasure and so much fun. MerryMaker Sisters.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks, girls. How much fun was that interview? I absolutely love those two. They are such good value and they certainly know their stuff. If you enjoyed that interview with the MerryMaker Sisters, please leave us a message. Give us a short note below if you're watching this on our website. Also, I've got some fantastic show notes with really good links, so you'll get all that info there. Also, if you are on our website, we also have a tools we use checklist, which is the top tools that we use to run our business at WP Elevation. Definitely a good one for the toolkit. Finally, if you're listening on iTunes and you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, give us a rating, and you can find us on wpelevation.com/iTunes. Until I see you next time on the WP Elevation podcast, go elevate.